Welcome to Channel AMEC, your insight to the Australian visa system. Good day everyone, my name is Carl Young, your online YouTube visa consultant. Are you interested in migrating to Australia? Why don't you consider to subscribe to my channel and turn on the bell on the side, so once all the updates and news, you'll be the first one getting all the insight. Alright, today's video I would like to talk a little bit outside of the topic of the general skill migration, rather than talking about the visitor visa. Now obviously once the since the border has opened up, so the COVID-19 pandemic is gone, a lot of people wanted to travel and visit their friends and relatives in Australia, especially when you are holding a tourist visa, so-called traditionally. Australia migration regulation actually called it the visitor visa. So there's the visitor visa subclass 600, and the E-visitor visa and the ETA visa. So it's subclass 600, subclass 651, and subclass 601. Now, what are the differences there? Well, basically 600 will be usually will be more takes longer time to actually apply with. The subclass 651, the E-visitor visa, traditionally has been utilized and granted to the European countries' passport holders. So when you apply it, you should get the instant, it's automatic grant. You probably get it within 2 or 3 minutes. Now the other one is the E-visitor visa subclass 601, so-called the ETA, electronic travel authority. It's the same. It's about the same as the 651 E-visitor visa. They just call it differently. They call ETA, and the eligible passport country are, so for example, the Asian countries, Eastern Asian countries like Japan, Korea, Taiwan, Hong Kong, and some of the others. You might want to go into the Home Affairs website to actually find it out. Now, that's not the real topic that we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about the so-called, it's undocumented, but usually can you stay over 6 months with 2 terms going in. So everybody knows when you hold a visitor visa, traveler's visa, you can stay maximum 3 months every entry. So some people stay 3 months and exit and then re-enter again for another 3 months, so 6 months altogether. Can you do it another time, another one with over 6 months? This has been the question that people ask. Now, under the policy with the regulation to cancel the visa, there is provisions that every custom, when you enter the custom border protections, the custom officers will actually check if they see that within the last 12 months you have already been staying in Australia for more than 6 months, that's equivalent to 180 days or 183 days, they will actually call you into a little room to have a little talk and find out whether what your intention is. So we're going to have a look at the actual policy that talks about this these provisions. So in order, now just make it sure, in order to just not get into the trouble, do not stay in Australia with a visitor or traveler's visa for more than 6 months within a year. Okay, that's the general term. If you're trying to do that, it's very likely that you get caught and you will be brought into a little room, and you will be discussed with one of the immigration officer. Their tactic is trying to find out what your intention is. If they find out your intention is not to visit, and there's potentially you're going to do anything else, for example work, your visa will be cancelled straight away and you'll be deported back to your original countries, and then you'll be banned for 3 years not to enter into Australia. So that's actually very bad. Let's have a look at the provision, shall we? So this is under the regulation 2.43, which talks about the non-genuine visitor. Now it's actually very hard and very boring to actually read them. It's within the provision to actually cancel a visa, so it doesn't show. If you search on the immigration's website on the visitor visa or subclass 600, 651 or 601, it will not show here. Okay, it will not show on the website, but this policy here, it's actually under the the checklist or booklet for all the immigration case officers. So under regulation for 2.431J, it deals with visitors categories visa, specifically list this provision. The holder did not have the time to grant a visa, overseas have intention to visit or remain in Australia visitor temporarily. Now we gotta define every single of these wordings. So intention is the key here, and are you here temporarily? Because if the intention is to stay there longer and it seems to be permanently, then obviously they will cancel your visa. So the purpose of visiting is either you're visiting an Australian citizen, permanent resident, or who is a parent or spouse or de facto child, brother, sister of any other visa holder, or another purpose of any other business or medical treatment. So was there any no genuine visitor intention? So we're talking about non-genuine. For example, there's some example that they check on whether you hold a one-way ticket, insufficient fund, there is a potential Australian employer, there is a documentation to a medical history, blah blah blah. So and the non-genuine ETA tourists is the same. You can see they copy each other. It's not much of differences, and they're talking about the e-visitor for business visitor. It's the same as well, whether or not you only come here to visit or you're actually conducting potential work there. So the rule of thumb here is, from our experience, is that obviously you hold a visitor visa, you could have multiple travel entries. Every entry you are allowed to stay maximum 3 months. So some people choose to stay 3 months before it ends. They depart Australia, but come back in 1 week, 3 days, or 2 weeks, and stay for another 3 months, and then exit out again. So that is okay. But if you exit and depart Australia and trying to come back again within the 12-month time frame, then what happened is, a lot of people has actually experienced this, and we had experience in dealing with this, is that you actually be called, and normally you wouldn't be expecting this, because you thought you got 12 months of visa, you can entry multiple times, you thought you'll be fine as the previous 2 times. You just enter and arrive and swipe your passport, and you'll be exited out of the airport. Usually that's what you expected. But this time, if you come in the 3rd time trying to stay for more than a half year, 6 months within 12-month period of time, you will be very, very likely, I will say 80 to 90 or perhaps 99%, that the immigration officer will actually stop you from entering, and they will call you into a little room just to interrogate, to find out what your intention is, and are you actually here to stay temporary, or perhaps there's job or work, whatever you're trying to do, or perhaps trying to find out all your relatives and friends in Australia. So that will probably be getting you into a trouble room. So the video here today is not to get you into trouble. So again, just to make it simple, every time you hold a travel visa, you hold a visitor visa, what you intend to do is not to stay more than 6 months. That's 180 days within a 12-month cycle. Now, another thing, a lot of people may ask, why is it 6 months? Because usually, there is no direct reference in here, but from my information and knowledge, I know that usually if you stay more than 6 months, you will deem to be the tax resident. No, despite this, there's no direct connection to immigration law, but you'll probably become a tax resident of that country. For example, if you are trying to evade another country's taxations, you could probably come and stay in Australia for more than what, 6 months of that year, of that financial year, then you could potentially evade those tax requirements of that country. So again, I don't think every other country have the this kind of policies, but I think it's similar ones will apply out there, because simply if you apply a visitor visa and you could permanently stay in one country unlimitedly, then why on earth people wanted to migrate anymore, right? So anyway, there's definitely a separation of differences between visitor visa and permanent visa and temporary visa. So again, if you're holding a visitor visa, traveler's visa, the rule of thumb is do not stay more than 180 days, 6 months within a 12-month cycle. Should you have more question, query, more than welcome to leave a comment right down below, and I see you next video. Goodbye.